Alright guys, Beard Advice Series time, and today we're going to be rocking it out. Stay tuned. Hey guys, Brian Haywood here. Welcome back to my Beards and Banjos YouTube channel where we discuss tips and tricks for your beards. We do some product reviews and unboxings. We also have this Beard Advice Series where you guys can send in a couple of pictures to me to the email address you see below. I take a look at it for a couple weeks. You get featured in your own Beard Advice Series video like we're doing today. And today we're featuring Steven. And you may think, who is Steven? I don't know any Steven. And then wait a minute. Here's his picture. Oh, that's that metal guy, 1983. So Steven is a great member of the community. I'll probably be calling him Metal here because that's usually what he goes by. But he's very, very active on Instagram. He also does dabbles in doing some product reviews on YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. He does a lot of product promotion and helping out other companies in the bearded community, similar to what I do in certain instances. So he sent me some pictures. He always likes being very supportive of folks doing things in the community. He said, here we go, I want to be featured. So we're going to feature you. Metal's been doing a lot of changing over the past few months. He's been on a trek to get healthier. He's lost some weight there. He's kind of changing the shape of his face. So he's kind of dabbling around with some things there with his beard. So if you'll see there, nice, beautiful red beard there. And then he's got a mustache that's just slightly detached. Right, it's got some separation there with that, and then his beard's been getting longer. His face has been thinning out a little bit. He says that, and with his hair, he's done different things. I've seen him with like a pseudo mohawk and some other kind of things. So kind of fun guy there. So I tried to think of some things that he could possibly do. He said he's been kind of shaping his beard a little bit more pointed, so kind of gives him that ducktail kind of feature right now, which looks good. That could also look good if you go a little bit shorter. You kind of have that shape to it where you kind of trim it closer on the sides and have it more prominent in the front. And when I first started thinking about Metal there, I thought, oh man, he could like get into a really long kind of point. And I looked at his beard texture and it doesn't look wiry enough. A lot of times you see that sometimes with the guys in like heavy metal bands and stuff, but their beards on the ones that I can recall are a little bit more like wiry, thick and wiry. So the texture of Steven's, there's a little bit straighter. It's got some wave to it obviously, but it's a little bit of a different hair texture on that. So I had to kind of rethink it. And then I started really looking at the texture of his hair and the slight wave to it, and thought a really good person that you can see all over the place in the beard community and has tons of videos, and that would be Eric Bandholz from Beard Brand. He's tried lots of different shapes with his beard and his hair actually. So I started thinking about his current style, which is just about the same length. He's got it slightly longer and a little bit maybe flatter across the front there, but he's really been making an emphasis on kind of using the round brush technique and the hair dryer where you're kind of adding emphasis to this area on it. He got the idea from Greg Berzinsky, who's also featured on Beard Brand videos. So you can look at Greg Berzinsky round brush technique, but also Eric Bandholz has done a video in the not too distant past where he kind of showed how he's doing this. So basically you can take the hair dryer and then you kind of roll your hair in and then use the hair dryer on that and kind of get everything in this to be more emphasized. So instead of putting it down into a point, you would kind of fluff everything out and enhance this area, and it's kind of it looks pretty manly when you do that. So I'm thinking that would work for you. Instead of going for the pulling everything in, is to actually get this area a little bit more full and kind of fill up that area. And then the other thing you mentioned to me was the advice on the mustache. And just in both with your beard and your mustache, for me, for what I'm recommending here is only like 1 or 2 months maybe away from being able to achieve this look that I'm speaking of. In fact, with your beard, you may be able to get it right off the bat because of your length. You do have the length to it. You just try messing around with that round brush here and emphasizing this region and see what happens. And then your mustache, you've got a great mustache. You've got the potential to go even more on it. If you think about Eric Bandholz, he's kind of known for that mustache. If he were to trim that back from any one of these pictures you take a look at from him, but it would basically kind of take away a superpower. It's the way I like to think about it. So you've already got a nice mustache that's already slightly separated. I think with a little more intent, and with that, it does come a lot of aggravation to get it more like his or mine even, and that is to get it long enough right here for you to be able to start combing it to the sides. So you've got the length on the sides. You need to, and as your beard's grown longer, it kind of, in my brain's thinking, okay, it needs to be a little thicker through here. When you had your beard shorter, that kind of a little bit thinner mustache kind of kept it a little bit cleaner here and just had the tail on it for separation, looked really good. And now that your beard's longer, I'm thinking that your mustache should be a little bit fuller too. So to get it start to come down to where your lips meet, that kind of thing. So you could take, I did an 8-week mustache challenge kind of thing. I'm thinking if you took 8 weeks to grow out your beard, play around with teasing it out, and then get that mustache to where you can get it over to the side. I've got lots of videos here about mustaches and mustache wax and that kind of thing. So get you some good mustache wax, start combing it over to the side. When you're using the round brush and the hair dryer, you can also use that. In fact, I do. I use this same round brush on my mustache after I finish my beard. I use the mustache and kind of twirl it this way to get it to separate, because mine had a whole lot of issues separating. And then kind of once you let it grow out and you're able to start thinking about trimming it and stuff, you can kind of trim it just a little bit, like flat across here, or you could kind of trim it up into a fishtail, if you will, to have it kind of pointed, or straight across. And then you can kind of play with how far out to trim it straight across. If it's really, really aggravated, you can go out a little bit further and then have the bulk of it still out here. So there's ways you can kind of mitigate the aggravation, but there's going to be some aggravation and you kind of have to figure out things on your own, because everybody's mustache is a little bit different. Somebody the other day, they had a big old great mustache all separated out to the side, and they said, yeah, I just comb it in the mornings. I don't have to use wax or anything. And I'm thinking, my goodness, I have to do a whole lot to get mine to do that kind of thing. So just kind of see, looking at the hair texture that you have that's not so wiry, I think it's going to be a little bit of a chore to get it long enough to be able to go out to the side and put the mustache wax on it. But that would be some things I would suggest. So on your beard, go ahead and let everything grow out, and then maybe kind of keep it at the length you're at in the front, but kind of slightly round it off, but make it a little bit straighter across the front. Get this area a little bit longer, play around with that round brush technique, let that mustache grow out, keep it separate, and that mustache can definitely enhance the look and kind of separate the men from the boys sometimes, I think, with the big, thick, burly mustache. So if you've never tried growing it out with the mustache, try it. You absolutely have the genetics there to have a bigger mustache. So that's always fun to play around with. And then your hair, I want to see what you do with it next. You had a mohawk. I could see you with the big mohawk. I could see you with an undercut that you could kind of do stuff around it, which is kind of half shaved up. Eric Bandholz kind of did a pseudo mullet kind of thing. I could see you doing that too, where you're just like you let everything grow here just a little bit longer than the mohawk that you had. So fun stuff to mess around with. I wish you the best of luck. Keep me updated, and if I can help you any with the journey along the way, I can do another video where I can show you that the round brush technique. If you wish, I could also do some more stuff on the mustache if you have questions about it. I'm planning on doing another video where I show how I'm trimming my mustache these days. I'm still kind of getting used to the bigger mustache myself, but I've gotten to where it's not aggravating me every day. So when it gets too aggravating, I have to do a little trimming to it. But anyway, keep me updated. Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you, Stephen, for sending in those pictures, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.